Welcome back to BLOCKTV. It's time now for the new and improved Bird Talk, where I, myself, and my dear colleague, Zachy Hennessy, also known as the Sonic Wombat, are going to go up the hills and down the dales of crypto Twitter to find you some of the best tweets going around the sphere on a range of different subjects. Zachy, thanks so much for being with us. I'm excited to go on this journey with you.
It's a pleasure, Asher, and I'm good. I'm glad to be here with the two of you. I, myself, and me is what you said. You said I, myself, and Zachy Hennessy.
Exactly.
So I just want to throw you under the bus real quick before we get started.
I'm pleased you started with that, but let's kick things off this week, starting with some pretty updated and breaking news, as it were, here in the sphere, being put out by the prolific tweeter of all things coming out of China and generally the Eastern Hemisphere of the world right now, Dovey1, who has tweeted a fantastic tweet talking about the big development coming from the Hong Kong SEC, announcing details regarding cryptocurrency exchange application criteria. Now, this one's big, Zachy.
Yeah.
I hope you understand. You know, we've talked about SEC approvals in the US all the time. We even talked about recently the UK coming out with new regulations updating what's happening there with businesses and cryptocurrencies. But now Hong Kong, still, you know, inside part of China, you know, the one country, two systems policy, but still very much part of China, coming out, putting out regulated exchanges.
Right, and you know, the news isn't necessarily nailed down anywhere yet.
Right.
But we are excited to see where it goes because it's, you know, it potentially means very, very big things for anybody, not just the people in Asia. But you know, this could have a ripple effect on the entire crypto sphere. So.
Absolutely, and look, and Dovey even points out, of course, not content just to break news, but also putting out some fantastic analysis, talking about how Wobi, an exchange already quite prevalent in that hemisphere of the world, already has a backdoor listing on HKEX. And the advantage that that's going to give them. So, I mean, this is could potentially change the sphere as a whole. Hong Kong, one of the great financial centers of the world, now having crypto exchanges being regulated and put in place there. I don't think we can understate how big this news is for the sphere and what it'll do. But as we said, late breaking news. There's still so much to break down of what this will mean. I'm sure in the days and weeks ahead we'll be looking at it.
And you can find that breakdown inevitably here on BLOCKTV.
Absolutely.
That's what we're all about.
Exactly.
So
now, Zachy, you've got one
coming
for
up
us.
next, you know, we've written here, it is important to zoom out and acknowledge the importance of crypto. We got a tweet here from Bitcoin Keith, and Bitcoin Keith is an amazing character in the crypto space, especially on crypto Twitter. He's the guy. He made headlines because he was sent $80,000 worth of Bitcoin, I think a month or two ago.
And he kept it, right? Of course, he kept it.
You think that, right? Any old buddy would do it, but he actually took the extra step of acknowledging it's not mine, and then he tracked down the guy who accidentally sent it to him, gave it back. So that was, you know, it just goes to show that he's a great personality kind of in the space. And you know, he is calling attention to a tweet that we have here that he's quoting, which is that turns out that Bitcoin is in Nigeria and South Africa, it is, you know, topping the charts in Google searches, and you know, he chalks that up to cryptocurrency potentially doing a lot for the people of Africa who are underbanked. Right. And this is kind of, it's important to be able to zoom out and kind of appreciate that. Yeah, you know, stuff's going on in China, stuff's going on in America, stuff's going on all over the place, but there are a lot of places that are really, really being directly impacted potentially from this technology.
Right, bringing in infrastructure that, you know, they're not looking for use cases here. This is infrastructure that these places are in dire need of, and it's just about getting that in place. Whereas here in the West, in the developed world, and even in China, where there's still a lot of development to go, but they have financial infrastructure in place. In some countries where that infrastructure is less developed, less in place, and Nigeria, don't get me wrong, they've done some fantastic work with mobile payments. They're one of the leading areas in that mobile payment system, but there's still a lot of people unbanked, underbanked, underserved, and you know, cryptocurrencies, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be Libra, whether it be Venus, whether it be any of these amazing projects, have so much to potentially offer.
Right, and that's definitely something that we should fold into the day-to-day narrative, and you know, just making sure that we're paying attention to our brethren all over the globe.
Exactly, something to always be aware of. This isn't an isolated thing. Cryptocurrencies is a truly global phenomena. Now, moving on to our next tweet, we've got an interesting one coming out of one of our favorites in the sphere, of course, Justin Sun, the founder of Tron. He made an announcement, as the man is wont to do, loves his announcements, stating that, you know, or let me pull it up for you, get it in his words, proudly stating that the McAfee DEX that's coming out soon will support Tron, including TRC-10 and TRC-20 tokens on November 8th. All right, seems a fair statement. You know, a new listing is something you'd expect the founder to announce, except I own Zachy Hennessy here interviewed John McAfee a couple of weeks ago, and he had some interesting things to say on the matter. Let's take a listen.
Okay, so here's our thing. We went beta with the Ethereum blockchain just because it's the largest number of tokens, thousands. Okay, so there was a good test for us. It was a good volume test. So we learned a lot. We fixed our speed. We've done a whole bunch of things. On the 8th of November, we'll add the Tron blockchain. On the 1st of January, we'll add Binance, EOS, and NEO. And then the 1st of May, we will go live with cross chains between all of these separate blockchains. We will, in fact, be the equivalent of Binance, only we're distributed and decentralized. It doesn't cost anything to list a coin on our exchange. We have a button at the top of the page that says add token. Press it, put in the technical details of your token, and you're listed. So we're not out here to rip people. We're here to give people the power that they need. Centralized exchanges.
Now, John, speaking of power.
I'm sorry.
John, yeah, just...
So, look, is there credibility in him making the announcement? Yeah, as McAfee said,
Right,
it's a
they're getting in on the beta. You know, they're getting in a little bit before launch, so it's something to be moderately excited for.
Right.
But again, it doesn't feel that way from
no.
his tweet.
If you would think this would be the grand big announcement, which obviously we've known since back in October 22nd when that interview was put out, so it's not really a brand new announcement. Maybe drawing a little bit of attention to a point, but anyone can list. The whole point of this DEX is that you literally can just click a button and list, no fees, no anything. I mean, such is the nature of a decentralized exchange. Getting onto a platform like that where literally anyone can list, I don't know. You know,
it's nice that you cut the line.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be criticizing. It might seem nitpicky. I wouldn't criticize Justin Sun for this, except he just makes so many announcements. You know,
Just
the
announcements. Yeah.
It's a little much. It's a little much.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll go on.
Yeah, moving
Zachy,
forward.
this
Oh
one's
yeah,
yours.
so this was kind of interesting. I saw this while I was looking for stuff for Suck My Blockchain. So an interesting poll from Matty Greenspan, and if you click it here, he asks the simple question, or states the simple statement: nobody should have $1 billion. Agree or disagree, or are you unsure? So surprisingly,
right?
Maybe surprisingly, depending on who you are, 59% of respondents, which is the clear majority, disagree with that statement. They are totally fine with people having $1 billion. And I'm sure there's a million explanations for that, 1,000 different ideologies that back that idea. What I'm curious about is the 12% who are not sure. What's keeping them on the fence? What's preventing them from saying yes, totally fine, or no, not at all?
Look, I mean, is it a question you think about every day? I personally, as we can see here, this is coming from my own Twitter feed. I don't think people should have $1 billion. I'm not a huge fan of that myself. It's something I think a lot about being a journalist in this sphere, thinking about finance, thinking about the way that finances develop. That's something that's a big part of who I am and what I do and I think about every day. 12% of people don't. That's not so shocking, I suppose.
I guess not. But, I don't want to get too ideological.
Right.
But, you look at people like, they got all these $1 billion, and then you look at, folks like my boy Keith.
Right.
Like, come on.
So, it's an interesting world, lots of diverse opinions, but Zachy Hennessy here, not a fan of fence sitters.
Not a fan of fences. Make up your minds,
Make up your mind.
It's
we want to hear
easy.
your
You
opinion.
just click yes or no.
All right, coming towards the end here, so we have a fascinating tweet from a personal favorite, a personal friend of the show, friend of the channel, regular on the show, Dan Held, Hodl with Heddle, catch it, it's a great show here on BLOCKTV. Now, he has come out alongside Connor Brown and taking a bit of a leaf from the Marie Kondo book, the bringing minimalism to the Bitcoin lifestyle.
Yeah, adding a little bit of KonMari to your Bitcoin.
Right, and I kind of love what he's putting down here. Now, this is an extensive thread. We're not gonna.
My dude wrote a fucking book.
We're not gonna go through it all here. As you can see, there's an extensive thread with sub threads and sub elements. You got from 4A to 4G, all the way down there. But honestly, a great read. I highly recommend reading it. He lays out our effectively Bitcoin is the way to take on a minimalist lifestyle. It's the way to earnestly move towards the sort of consumerist, over consumpting culture to a flight to quality. It's something he's spoken a lot about on Hodel with
flight
Hedel.
to quality,
That flight to quality idea. That
And he
we've got
also
to move
speaks
in.
to, you know, he says even in this tweet, it reduces your time preference. It lets you take a fucking step back and say, yo, it's coming. You know, take your time, you'll get there.
Right.
And that is kind of like a very important
And you look at the financial system,
mantra in life.
Yeah, I think it's an important thing. But there's other elements to this that might help induce minimalism.
Yeah,
maybe.
the good thing about you know, Bitcoin and how it enables minimalism is because you can't buy anything with it.
But Backed is going to help us get a Starbucks coffee soon.
That's right. So we can buy our coffee. So, well, you know, you're not safe from consumerism in that sense.
My double mocha frap, half calf decaf is coming any day now.
Yeah. So watch out for that.
I may have missed the pumpkin spice season, but I'm still pretty excited to use my Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're getting in the peppermint season, baby.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, now let's wrap this one up. Zachy, what do you got for us to conclude the day?
So friend of the show, Crypto Graffiti, I had him on, interviewed him. Just a fantastic artist, and we just wanted to highlight a little bit of his work. This is one of his recent pieces where, you know, he's taken fiat currencies of different colors, he's cubed them up, made them nice and clean there, and he's actually been working on some really great stuff. I wanted to just highlight him and tell you, yeah, go buy his shit, beg him to start making prints so you can, you know, buy these as posters and whatever you want. And take a look at his other stuff because he's really been working on some incredible things, you know, experimenting, really playing with the idea of depreciating value in art and what that means. And yeah, just a really cool guy. So.
A good chance to highlight an important element of the sphere. Artistic creation is a huge part of the crypto sphere, something that we love to bring attention to, another important one. But regardless, I'm Asher Westrop Evans. You can catch me at Asher Westrop. Feel free to reach out and tweet to me. This over here is Zachy Hennessy. You can catch him at The Sonic Wombat. Reach out to us on Twitter for all your thoughts about today's segment and much more. And in the meantime, stay with us at BLOCKTV.com for all the latest in news and information. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.